Video games are the same way. Never got into video games. Wow. The only thing that I have a clear issue with is I like taco.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't. Honest. I'm going to be honest with you. May I be honest with you?
For how many years have we known each other?
A long
We've been
time.
honest with each other.
Yeah, I don't. If I was to describe you to somebody, I don't think that fat would be in there.
Yeah, see, and let me tell you something about fat people listening right now, or heavyset people listening. When I look back at pictures of myself in yearbooks, okay, 8th grade, 9th grade, 7th grade. When I was in the 8th grade, I was 6 foot, 165 pounds.
Oh.
Whoa!
But I was the fat kid. When I look back at pictures of myself as a freshman, I was 6'1", 220 pounds, but I was the fat kid. Mm-hmm. When I look back at pictures of myself in the 4th grade, I was the chubby fat kid. But my point is I grew out of that, but I was still the biggest kid in my class. So I've never not thought of myself as the fat kid. But you're not the first person to say, like, when I see you, that's not what I think. Do you know what I mean? But I've never had any other opinion of myself. So people listening, it's like they say when you have a pimple on your face, you see it. Other people don't really notice it, but you really get in on it. Like you have that thing on your nose right now. That's a huge, huge pimple. What is that? Is it a growth? Jeez. You should have that looked at. What is that?
It's he gets a lot of nose pimples.
Have you always had that?
What are you even saying?
It's just a forever pimple. It's actually a scar now. It's
I have a scar pimple face.
Oh
thing.
my God.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, like I've never. Good Lord, I can't look at anything else.
Just don't
now.
then.
All right, I'm trying to look in your eye. Eyes.
Okay. You finish.
But I look back at those pictures and I get sad for myself because I think like, well, I wasn't fat in 7th, 8th, 9th grade, and then,
but But don't you think that the reason why you're where you're at is because of those issues that you had growing up? Because people use humor as a defense mechanism, right? And you want to become an actor to become somebody else, or you like pretending to be. I mean, I feel like some of my self-esteem issues and problems I had as a young person bleeds into my career, has something to do with it, like some sort of like a launching pad or a catalyst. Yeah.
Did you watch the Chris Farley documentary that was just on? It's phenomenal. You need to watch it. But what it reminded me of, I was in Chicago when Chris died, and I only saw him in person once. But I know his brother Kevin, and I know his brother John, and I know a lot of
I know all those guys too. I love them.
That knew Chris. I know a lot of people that knew Chris. So I felt like after his passing, kind of got to know him a little bit. But that documentary was great. And one of the things that I was telling Tyler that it really solidified in my brain is that Chris Farley kind of taught me what I wanted my career to look like, or helped me define it, because I never wanted to be that version of an actor of where I'm taking my shirt off and dancing around. Didn't mean I didn't love him for being able to do it and do that stuff, but it meant like, wow, I don't possess that, and I don't want to pretend I possess that ability to do that.
Right.
And what it taught me was like, I have insecurities, deep insecurities, but you know what? My insecurities aren't as deep as that. To look into drugs and to look into alcohol and look into just like this notion of getting up on stage and going berserk. Yeah. You know?
I mean, I think that you would do it as a role.
Yeah.
You could play that guy.
But the saddest line we were in that documentary is when he calls a friend of his and on Saturday Night when he's on Saturday Night Live and he's talking to her at Second City, and he says, well, they wrote a sketch again this week making fun of the fat guy. Oh. And there's just something, it broke my heart. Like, it really broke my heart because he was willing to do it for not necessarily the best healthy reasons.
Yeah.
Why, a girl might do every dude in high school. She's looking for something. Like
right.
That,
Yeah. And I did one line in David Spade's Hawaii movie. One line.
What's the movie?
It's Adam Sandler produced. I don't know, but
is it new?
Yeah, it hasn't come out yet. It's for Netflix.
Okay.
But I was in Hawaii and I was eating dinner with David, and we talked about Chris Farley, and he told me that when Farley died, where he was, and the way he was describing, number one, you could tell that Chris Farley, that you and I, like everyone in this room, we'd be his friend.
Yeah.
That he was one of the nicest guys. And number two, how heartbreaking that moment was for David.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sure he didn't. I'm not saying anything that he totally told me.
Yeah,
that,
he's he's still. I mean, he's on the record that he still can't talk about it a tremendous amount.
He can't.
Because
No,
he's so pained.
You could tell that it was emotionally like still raw for him, and he even hangs out with Chris. I mean his brothers.
Yeah.
Was it
Kevin and John?
Kevin and John. Yeah, and it's still hard for him because it reminds him of Chris, but yeah, what a talented guy, man.
Unbelievable.
Legend.
Pat Finn is in the documentary, and he's a friend of mine, and he said that one of the things that stuck with me is that Chris surrounded himself with such amazing, funny people, and the worst thing about his funeral was all those amazing, funny people crying.
God, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, but it's also like, you know, we have friends that, you know, that are in that have been in that struggle before. So it's like Chris was important to a lot of people, you know, and they said, why are we going to this guy's wedding? Why are we going to his funeral?
Yeah.
He couldn't get out of it. John Goodman, you got to watch it, dude.
I'm going to watch it. What is it on?
A biography channel, I think. A&E.
A&E.
Yeah.
And we're going to watch it tonight.
Yes.